Vietnam, Steve is on his way.
Sing ciao, everybody. Welcome back. You're watching Vietnam Steve, and I've got a good one for you today. Today we're back on money, time and sustainability, and it's 5-question Friday. So every 3 weeks on a Friday, I post. And when I post on a Friday, I respond to your questions. So I've pulled together 5 that sort of fit within the money, time and simplicity bucket. So a lot of people asking about, it all sounds very simple, but I don't have the time and I don't have the money. And so I thought today I would run through 5 of the most common things that I get asked, whether it's here through the channel, and I must say that you guys are a little slow sending questions in, so it's been 3 weeks. If you've got questions about living an essential life and living sustainably and splitting your time between countries and marrying a Vietnamese woman, ask me all those questions because I'm happy to answer them. And I'm very keen to build up this 5-question Friday to be a flagship part of the channel. I post on a regular basis, but Fridays only really come around every 3 weeks. So if you get it in this week, you'll probably see it in a couple of weeks' time. So 5 questions today, and I've actually only got, I have got 5 actually. I thought I only had 4. I've got 5. Let me just have a quick look at them here. What's the single money habit that reduced the most stress in your life? So that's a classic one, and I'll be onto that one first. The next question is going to be, why do you think people overestimate how much money they actually need? And I've been guilty of that, so I'll have some examples from my own experiences. What did living overseas teach you about simplicity? Well, I've got a whole channel full of that, but I'll try and summarise it into a 2 or 3 minute answer for the question here. What's a common financial rule that you ignore completely? So we have these rules about, pay off everything before you move overseas, don't spend more than 4% of your portfolio, make sure that you've sold everything before you launch to another locale. So I'll go through some of the common financial rules that I just ignore and get on with my life. And then last but not least, one simple decision that improved my life immediately. And I might have 2 there, so stay tuned for that one. So without further ado, first question on 5-question Friday, second edition of 5-question Friday. Thanks for coming back. What's the single money habit that reduced the most stress in your life? So if you've had a money habit in your life that's helped you reduce stress, please put it in the comments down below. I'm so glad that now I've got you running on here, and I'm in the Dragon Castle. The construction has finished outside. I thought when I was setting up for this that we'd have a steady beat of a hammer to take us through the 5-question Friday. So I think the single most effective money habit that I worked on was separating survival money from growth money. So working out what I actually need to survive, keeping my financial freedom number as low as possible, and then using that as a level of what do I really need to survive versus what would I like to have, in the fullness of time. I did develop an emergency fund before investing, so I always made sure that I had some readies on hand just in case the worst beset me. And of course, when you're living in the West, the worst besets you every month, so you never get ahead. But I do think an emergency fund is important. So that would be a money habit that reduced stress in my life. Of course, I have fewer accounts, so I have to make fewer decisions. I really just operate out of one bank account. I have multiple bank accounts and credit cards for emergencies, just in case something gets nailed when I'm overseas. But I'm just operating out of the one bank account. And of course, for me, the stress drops when the basics are covered. So as long as I've got those basics covered, I find that my stress drops. Boring finances, I know, but boring finances equals a peaceful life. So thanks for that kind of question that people have been sending in. What's the best financial advice? It's not actually financial advice, by the way. It's just a guy talking on YouTube about what happened in his life. The next one was a tricky one. Why do you think people overestimate how much money they actually need? Now, I didn't really have a good example for this because there's probably many reasons why people overestimate the amount of money that they need to launch into retirement optional, employment optional type life. Lifestyle inflation is invisible. I keep everything at a low level. I don't inflate my lifestyle at all. I'm probably living back in the 80s, to be the truth be known, but I don't inflate my lifestyle. I don't compare myself with others. Social comparison brings a lot of fear, so I think one of the things people do to overestimate what they're going to actually need is they try and compare themselves with others. I hope you like this format of 5 Question Friday at the desk. Let me know. It's a lot easier to do because I've got to sort of have your 5 questions in front of me so I can think about what I'm going to say. And it's a lot easier to do from the desk, and I'm turning it into a flagship part of the channel. We'll be having some live streams as well where you'll be able to ask questions. They'll typically happen on a Tuesday morning here in Vietnam when I post on a Tuesday. So stay tuned for those. You'll get sort of 24 hours notice, and we'll have a live stream as well. A lot of people confuse comfort with security. So what do you need to be comfortable versus what do you need to be secure? And for me, I know what makes me comfortable, and I don't need very much. Of course, the only way to really know what you're going to need is to test that low-cost living. So maybe test it for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. Just really see how low you can go. I've got a couple of tricks in my toolkit for when I'm back in the West later this year. One of those is going to be no small expenses. So all these $6, $7, $8, $9 expenses, they really add up. So basically, if I'm not spending $30, I'm not spending. I'll be getting some dental work done while I'm here in Vietnam, so that'll be an interesting one for you on the channel. I need a crown, and I keep getting stuff stuck in there, and it's going to be quite cheap here in Vietnam, so I'm going to do that in the next couple of weeks and bring that one to you. In the comments below, I'd like to know what your definition of enough is. So that's really one of the reasons that people overestimate how much money they need. They don't know what enough is. All right. One of the things that I'm pulling together is a mailing list. So on my channel page, not in the notes of this video, so go to the Vietnam Steve channel page, you'll find a link to my mailing list. And when I get a lot of people on the mailing list, I might mail something out. So that's something that I'm starting to build. So if you feel like you want to subscribe to the mailing list, go there, give me your email address, and I won't be spamming you. In fact, I won't be sending you anything probably for the first 3 months. But let's start getting a few people on the mailing list. Number 3 on 5 Question Friday, and we're going to pick up the pace a bit here now because we don't want this to take more than 20 or 30 minutes. What did overseas teach you about simplicity? I've just done a video earlier this afternoon on this around how happy I am to be here and just living an essential lifestyle. For me, less choice equals less fatigue. I find all the choices out there in the West really mean we've got to make a decision for every single thing we do. So less choice is less fatigue. That means my daily life becomes smaller and calmer, and that's something that really resonates with me. A calm, easy life, sipping coffee in the cafe, talking to people. Convenience replaces consumption. So making sure that things are simple, easy, etc. And most of my needs were actually habits. I'm breaking the sugar habit actually while I'm here this time. I've been read the Riot Act from She Who Must Be Obeyed, and there's no more sugar for Steve. So sugar is off my diet. I will eat sugar as it naturally occurs in the food that I'm eating, but I'm not having any candy or drinks with artificial sweeteners or anything like that. I'm just going cold turkey. So most of my needs were habits, and sugar was my need, and really it was just a habit. So what did living overseas teach you about simplicity? Well, there's people here that live on $300 a month. So you figure out how they do it, and the world is your oyster. All right. Question 4. Have you put a question in the comments for your own questions going forward? That's really something that's going to help me build the question list and get this thing moving. What's the common financial rule you ignore completely? So I've got a couple of financial rules that I'll talk to you about, and then just whether I ignored them or I followed them. That would probably be the idea. But of course, this doesn't say what you need to do. This is what I did. Pay off everything before living. Well, everything except your mortgage, and then you can really start to live when you pay off your mortgage. So it turned out that because I'd reduced my living expenses, my mortgage was costing me 50% of what I needed every month. So I nailed that, and I became 50%. I had 50% more disposable income, or 100% more disposable income. So pay off everything before living. Is that a financial rule that I now ignore completely? No, I did pay off everything, and I think that's a good rule to follow, actually. Property is the only path. Well, I have property. There's many paths. I mean, I wish I'd kept some. I bought a lot of silver about 5 years ago at $34 an ounce. So I wish I'd held on to that. I think there's many paths, and I think consistency is the only path. Property is one path. I don't like property because it comes with a lot of complications: maintenance, upkeep, tenants, and chasing your tail. So I don't like property, but I do have property. For me, the old adage, they say money's made round to go round. Well, my adage is money is flat to stack. So they make those notes flat so that you can stack them, and just stack them and stack them and stack them. So I would think property is the only path is probably a rule that I would ignore. Retirement starts at 65. Well, I'm closing in on 65 now, and I don't know. I love what I'm doing. I'm probably retired, but I do some paid work, which is enjoyable, and I have a YouTube hobby, which is enjoyable. Retirement starts at 65. I think retirement starts when you leave the corporate rat race. That's when retirement starts. You start charting your own course and not answering to the man, using your own efforts to create a way for yourself. So retirement starts at 65. That would be a rule that I would ignore, because I may not be retiring at 65, and I may be retiring tomorrow. It just depends how I feel when I wake up. You must maximise everything. Well, I don't think you need to. My resolution each year is to do less, so that would be the opposite of that. When everything you do, pull it back one notch and do less. That would give you a lot more energy, a lot more time in the day. Rather than maximising your time at the office, go home 1 hour early, do less. So I would ignore the rule, you must maximise everything. I believe you can probably do less on everything. If you eat 3 ice creams a day, eat 2. If you, whatever you do, just scale it back. If in doubt, lower your standards. Rules often suit institutions, not people. Don't really know what that one means. It was in the comments there. It's probably a rule I would ignore because everybody is individual, so I don't like to follow the rules. In fact, one of the things I like being here in Vietnam is that I feel like there's less rules or less enforcement of whatever those rules are. All right, last but not least, what's one simple decision that improved my life immediately? So I've got a couple of things here. I'll rattle through them fairly quickly. If you've had something that's improved your life immediately, put it in the comments. If you like the 5-question Friday format, please give it a tickety-boo, and that'll get the algorithm moving. If you're new here, I'd love you to subscribe to the channel if this is something you'd like to be involved with. I'm really building a village here and looking for more people to come along on the journey. Transitioning my channel from a Vietnamese walking and talking street vlog to something that says, what do I do in my daily life that I could share with others that might be useful for them down the track. So maybe some people are going to leave as subscribers, but we're going to get new subscribers. The world is a big place. Cutting subscriptions ruthlessly, I do that. In fact, every month I go through because I have subscriptions that creep up on me. I had one that crept up on me for making musical tunes, and that one's gone now. So I do cull subscriptions ruthlessly. In fact, even better than that, I often use my kids' subscriptions if there's something that I need to do. I walk daily without tracking perfection. Well, I don't know what perfection is. It's walking, come on. If you're walking, you're walking. I walk daily. So that's probably something that improved my life immediately. I like to get out there. It's the mental clarity that it brings me walking around the neighbourhood. It's the physical well-being of the exercise. And of course, it's the social well-being of being part of the community. So walking daily is probably something that improved my life immediately. I don't know about without tracking perfection. I don't really track it. Whoever put that one in the questions. Saying no faster, I don't really do that, but that is something I should do. I'd like to do it, but I'm more of a get in there and help people rather than a no, do it yourself person. What's one simple decision that improved your life immediately? Saying no faster. I think it would improve my life, but I haven't done that. Fewer commitments, deeper focus. No, I don't agree with that one. Well, fewer commitments would improve my life faster, so don't commit to a whole lot of stuff. Have fewer commitments, but I don't believe I need a deeper focus on things. I don't believe we have to be deeply focused on stuff. We can be generically focused on many things rather than deep analytics. So fewer commitments and appropriate focus would change your life. And then designing weeks, not years. And I will be doing a video shortly about how I design my week. I really break it down into 21 slots, morning, afternoon and evening, 7 days a week. 21 slots to fill each week. How am I going to fill them? And is there something I could be doing better in each of those slots that would make me feel better at the end of the week or at the end of the day or at the end of that slot? So am I using my 21 periods of available time, that's morning, afternoon and evening every day, to get the best out of life? So 5 questions there, my take on those 5 questions. I hope they've been thought-provoking to you, and of course I'd love you to give me some thought-provoking questions. You've been watching 5-Question Friday. This comes around every 3 weeks, so keep an eye out for when you see the FQF come up on the thumbnail, because we'll have 5-Question Friday if I'm posting on a Friday. You've been watching Vietnam Steve. You've been very patient with me staying till the end. Thanks for watching. Stay frosty, and I'll see you in the next one.